We begin today's RNL Revolution Nothing Less show with this. Watch. We refuse to accept this system's future. A better world without oppression and exploitation is possible. We, almost 8 billion people on the earth now, are human beings. We do not have to live this way. A whole different way to organize society, a whole better world is possible. This basic understanding must come through in everything we do over the next months and directly in preparation for International May 1st, 2023. Projected far and wide, it needs to be commented on. And it needs to be talked about in whispers and shouted from rooftops in classrooms and online. The RevComs, youth of different nationalities, students, people of all ages, people who are fed up, outraged, angry, passionate that no one should have to live and die with the way this system in today's world is doing people. And we are calling on you to be on a mission to put revolution on the map. And yes, to learn about why and how and what for as you make this real. The people of the world and our own futures cannot afford for us to do less. This May Day, we march under the main banner. We refuse to accept this system's future. A better world without oppression and exploitation is possible, and we do so understanding the urgency and the potential of this rare time in U.S. history. And we struggle hard with masses of people everywhere we can with the slogan of the mission that we are on, that, quote, now is the time to get organized for a real revolution. Now is the time because the future hangs in the balance over the next months and very few years. As Bob Avakian has analyzed, the crisis and deep divides in society today can only be resolved through radical means, either radically reactionary, murderously oppressive and destructive means, or radically emancipatory, revolutionary means. And this resolution could quite possibly happen one way or the other, within the next few years. The radically reactionary path has momentum, including with two threats that could spell the end of humanity itself. Number one, the war in Ukraine between the U.S. and Russia. And it is still referred to for now as a proxy war because official U.S. troops are not directly fighting. Instead, the U.S. is providing intelligence and arms, with Ukrainians doing the fighting and dying for the U.S. NATO war bloc. This bloody war in Ukraine has become a conflict over which of these imperialist gangsters can gain an obscene advantage over the other in their global dog-eat-dog competition to see who can gain dominance over the people and resources of the world. Now, in different ways, they threaten the use of nuclear weapons. But in the do-or-die logic they are committed to, and the trajectory they are on, these threats can become real, a reality that defies comprehension.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. Never.
Для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф.
Agitation and focus on the danger of this war, including the ratcheting up of war threats with China, will be the leading edge of this May Day 2023. And we're going to be discussing the RevCom protest against the danger of this war starting on April second later in today's RNL show. Number 2. While the danger of war is the main focus of this Mayday, there are existential stakes as well in the destruction of the climate, which is closing in on a tipping point, where the possibility of reversing the damage already done could become impossible. Once the polar ice caps melt, which is happening at an accelerated pace, we just can't refreeze what took millions of years in their creation. And 2 weeks ago, President Joe Mr. Climate Biden green-lighted drilling in the pristine wild Arctic of Alaska for more oil.
Joe Biden has given the go-ahead for a controversial oil drilling scheme in Alaska inside the Arctic Circle. Environmentalists say it's a carbon bomb.
Sending a message to the world that this country, which has done more damage to the environment than any other country, is saying fuck you to the planet and to its people. But Mayday is not just these two existential situations that cries out for radical, which means pulling up the roots change, pulling up the roots, and bringing a new liberating state power into being. And not a day goes by where someone, no, the real number is actually 3 people every day, are shot down, beaten down, or suffocated like dogs by the police, mostly black and brown youth, disproportionately so. Women who have had their fundamental right to control their lives, their bodies, and are suffering tremendously as their fundamental right to abortion has been stripped away and continues to be even more so under assault, with hundreds of new draconian laws on the dockets. And these same Christian fascist forces are aiming at LGBTQ people in a vicious political offensive with hundreds of more repressive laws. And this motherfucking system, 30 migrants from at least 6 Latin American countries that the U.S. has savaged, burned alive in a detention center just across the border from El Paso, Texas, as a result of the Democratic Biden administration illegally denying thousands of people asylum.
Anguished screams of desperation from a woman searching for her husband after a fire tore through a government-run migrant holding center in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. You can see the flames in the corner of the screen of this surveillance video obtained by Telemundo as the room begins to fill with smoke. Tonight, at least 39 people are dead,
leaving them in unsafe conditions on both sides of the border. Look, all of this, and much worse, is real. And this is not a fucking video game that trains you, our youth, to be callous, indifferent, and vicious. The reality is that the intensified oppression and increasing society-wide shocking, dislocating jolts are shaking people deep down in their core. And people do care about each and all of this. As Bob Avakian says in the interviews he did with Sansara and myself on the RNL show, he sees that caring, even when the hardest youth push their babies, their kids, on the streets in their strollers.
I see you out there pushing the little ones around. I see the pride that you have in the little ones. So don't tell me you don't care, because I know different and I know better. And there is a way, but we got to give people the way. And that means a tremendous amount of struggle. It's not just handing them away and they're going to take it. It's a tremendous amount of struggle. You know, and we have to also, especially in this rare time when revolution becomes more possible, we have to get right down on the ground with them and explain in terms they can understand, and then get in more into the complexities as we go along. But get to the basic thing that there is a way out of all this. And right now we have more opportunity than we've had in your lifetime or my lifetime to do this. And we can't afford to be wasting this time and this opportunity in bullshit. We got to get with this revolution so we can get all this shit off of our backs and make a future for the next little kids you're pushing along that's worth living for, so they don't have to go through what you are going through now.
And students, too, with their noses stuck in their cell phones and selfies and careers on their minds, they care, too. Many of them care very deeply. People care. But we have a lot of sharp struggle to wage to turn that caring that lies just beneath the surface, suffocated, into thinking and acting in accord with the reality we actually face and get with the revolution that we need to free humanity. Yet the people who should and need to be with this are mentally imprisoned in all forms of anti-scientific self-absorption, whether giddy, depressed, or viciously vindictive, and sometimes with all three interacting simultaneously. We need to crack this open with sharp polemic that brings out both the actual situation to shake and wake people up. And people also need to be pulled, attracted by the emancipating future that is possible through revolution on the basis of the new communism developed by Bob Avakian. May 1st, 2023, this is a message to the masses of people here and around the world that there is a way out of this madness. People need to learn through the work before and on May Day and after that they have a leader, Bob Avakian, BA, who has developed an actual strategy for making a real revolution in this time and in this place. He has developed a foundation and a roadmap for masses of people to take up the science of revolution as enriched in the new communism he has developed, and the vision and the concrete blueprint for a new society on the road to human emancipation in the Constitution for the new socialist republic in North America. To get ready not just for May Day, but for revolution, masses of people need to be watching the BA interviews, getting into his talks and writings that you can find on our website, revcom.us. And key in preparing people for May 1st and for the future is this show, the RNL Revolution Nothing Less Show, which brings you decisive weekly orientation for the movement for revolution and how to know and change the world. And I'm going to put it straight to you. There is organization and a movement that you need to get with and join as you learn more about this revolution. Get with the revolution clubs. These are people who critically think, who wrestle with the big questions facing all of humanity with science and heart. These are future people on fire, taking revolution to the people. We Revcoms crave a new world, not for ourselves alone. We are living and fighting for the future of the people of the whole world. But without you and many more like you doing this now, getting organized now, there will not be an emancipating future, but precisely the opposite. And history has shown that it can become too late. Just as there is a moment now of just months and a few years to try to reverse and stop the destruction of the Earth's climate, so too there is a moment that could be lost for revolution. And on the other hand, this is a moment where there is so much to be gained if we put this revolution on the map now. So let's make May 1st, 2023 an accelerant to getting ready for real revolution. Be a part of liberating humanity. Be a part of a serious force that has the vision, the science, the strategy, and the heart to organize for real revolution now to bring about a radically new world. Be part of International May Day 2023.